That's right.
What,
That's right.
what kind of fight you think we're going to be looking forward to?
I can't speak on nobody. I'm not here to speak on nobody else's fighting style or nobody else's fighting ability.
Gervonta Davis is one of boxing's biggest superstars, and whenever he picks a fight date, the whole world of boxing does everything possible to make the date a significant one. Well, it's quite different this time, as fans are growing increasingly frustrated with his choice of opponents and have promised to stay off the December 14th fight. Interestingly, the same man who started his career and helped him handpick his opponents during his early years is now complaining about his choice of opponents.
The two guys, well, the biggest puncher, I feel, at the 135 will probably be Gervonta Tank Davis.
It's funny how things change and how time flies. At the start of Gervonta Davis's career, no one would have imagined such a situation happening at all. But Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Gervonta Davis have moved from the mentor and protege they used to be to themselves to sworn enemies. Floyd Mayweather has joined the long list of complainers who don't feel Gervonta Davis has made the best choice for himself. And ultimately, Mayweather feels Gervonta Davis might be gradually robbing himself of his chance to become an international boxing Hall of Famer. And since he is also familiar with Lamont Roach, Mayweather gave an in-depth analysis of the upcoming World Boxing Association lightweight championship title.
I mean, the world of boxing is
Recently, Floyd Mayweather was in the city of Detroit for a press conference, and while he spoke about several topics, he was also asked about his thoughts on the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach matchup, which he was so honest about. Gervonta Davis has confirmed that he will defend his World Boxing Association lightweight title against Lamont Roach Jr. on December 14th at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. The fight will be broadcast on PBC through Amazon Prime Video. It is still uncertain whether the event will be on pay-per-view, and details about the undercard are expected to be announced soon.
Obviously, Tank isn't the biggest 135-pounder. Everybody fights is damn near bigger than him. I think the only person that was smaller than him was Pitbull.
Davis, boasting a perfect 30-0 record with 28 knockouts, last fought in June when he decisively defeated Frank Martin, overpowering him with speed and power before securing a knockout in the middle rounds. In 2023, Davis also defeated Ryan Garcia in one of the year's biggest matchups. Lamont Roach has a 6-victory winning streak since his only career loss, a decision defeat to Jamel Herring in 2019. His most significant win came in November when he narrowly defeated Hector Garcia by split decision to capture a world title. What was most striking was how Floyd Mayweather's comments were in stark contrast with boxing trainer Greg Hackett's opinion about the fight. Trainer Greg Hackett describes the upcoming Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach bout as a good fight, though he acknowledges that Roach may not be as well known to casual boxing fans who haven't closely followed the sport.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just in height and stature. He was, technically bigger than Tank too. But Tank is comfortable at 100.
Hackett notes that Roach lacks the flair of fighters like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, attributing this to Roach's more laid-back personality. To the people who know Lamont and to the people that know boxing and have been around, it's a good fight, trainer Greg Hackett stated to YSM Sports Media, talking about the clash. What's missing is that flair. Lamont isn't that type of guy. He's a gentleman. He's laid back. Lamont is the type of guy, like even if he tried to intimidate you, you wouldn't be fully intimidated because his eyes are green, light-skinned boy. He doesn't look like a super mean bull. Tank has got the tattoos, and his eyes are a little bit off. He looks crazy like there's something wrong with him. He's got the braids, and he's going to put a lot of extra stuff into it. He's going to be coming in with an outfit and all that. So, Tank is coming with flair.
It's boxing. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. It's boxing.
Lamont is just a cool bull, but he can fight, and he is a champion. We should respect him as such. The problem is, we're always looking for hype. We're always looking for big fights when, honestly, truly, this is a good fight. Lamont Roach knows Tank Davis. Tank Davis knows Lamont Roach. It's a local fight, and it's big for their part of town for the DMV. It's massive. They both fought Hector Garcia. The reason I brought that up is because of the level of boxing. Tank only fought him a year and a half ago, Hector Garcia, so that is the same level of boxing, commented Hackett on Tank and Roach's history with Hector Garcia. So how can we say Tank is cherry-picking when this guy Roach has a title? They have a history and know each other. The only thing that's missing is that flair, like a Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney. They got the flair on them because the attention has been on them for some years, Greg Hackett expressed.
The world of boxing is what it is. You just don't ever know what can happen in the sport.
Right.
We take losses every day, even though I may have had my hand raised every time I went out there and performed, but when I...
However, Mayweather feels the lightweight division is so blessed with great boxing talents in and around it, and as such, Gervonta Davis has a worthier collection of opponents to pick from. Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, Isaac Cruz, Rayo Valenzuela, Teofimo Lopez, and Vasily Lomachenko are all opponents that'll be considered to be better options for Gervonta Davis than making a fight against Lamont Roach. Mayweather claims Tank Davis, if he continues this way, will have no boxing legacy and will leave the world of boxing like one of the many world champions with no special accolade attached to his name.
Lost my Uncle Roger, that was a defeat. I lost. When I lost a lot of loved ones around me, my grandmother, when I lost the mother of my children, those losses you can't bounce back from.
It's really not shocking how Floyd Mayweather has chosen to handle this, considering how sour his relationship with Gervonta Davis has become over the past few months. The pair have become complete enemies of each other. They've dragged themselves to the mud and washed their dirty linen in public. It began when Floyd Mayweather went on an interview with Fight Hype and scolded boxers who were so much after luxuries that they weren't paying attention to their skills. It got so bad that Floyd Mayweather involved Shakur Stevenson, lied about Gervonta Davis's fight, and ridiculed the Baltimore champion.
Those are lifetime losses. And as long as you went out there and gave it 100% in that square circle, if you gave it 100% and you happy with what you did when you went out there, then that's what it is.
What it is.
The worst of all was how Floyd Mayweather did not only pick sides against Davis in his last fight, but also acted in a manner that was unlikely of a boxing legend. He was so after Gervonta Davis's loss that he felt his Instagram post about the fight being canceled wasn't enough. He also predicted a fight that was clearly an easy win for Gervonta Davis as a 50-50th and gave Frank Martin some tips to help him defeat Tank Davis. This time, his feud with Gervonta Davis got so much into his head that he had secretly called Gervonta Davis's opponent Frank Martin and given him tips on how to beat Tank Davis. Whether it fell on deaf ears or whether Floyd's instructions weren't just enough, we don't know. However, on fight night, Frank Martin, who seemed to put on a great show in the early rounds, fell short after 1 minute and 49 seconds in the 8th round. A devastating blow from Gervonta Davis took him flat on the canvas, earning Gervonta Davis the 30th win of his career. But that wasn't even where the problem was. The real issue was the involvement of Floyd Mayweather, who had clearly been at loggerheads with Gervonta Davis, having one of the most epic mentor versus protege feuds in recent history. Frank Martin revealed in one of his many pre-fight interviews that Floyd Mayweather had helped in some way ahead of the fight, hoping to get back at Gervonta Davis for being disrespectful to him.
Young fighters, he loves to embrace guys, so what was being around talking to Floyd? Like, what has Floyd taught you about fighting, and has it made you a better fighter? Because he could tell me all day to do that shit he does.
It came as a surprise to boxing fans and professionals when the Ghost Martin revealed he has been receiving advice from Gervonta Davis's former mentor and promoter, Floyd Mayweather. The lightweight duo locked horns in the ring at MGM, Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas on June 15th, with Gervonta Tank Davis retaining his World Boxing Association title.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does being around a guy like Floyd do for you?
He could tell you, go run at 2 in the morning. Go do it when, cause 9 times.
And as expected, there was quite the trash talk brewing between the two. Still, going into the fight, Tank Davis was a heavy favorite. However, while appearing in the Pivot podcast, shared on YouTube before the fight, The challenger, Frank Martin, revealed the Mike Tyson-esque advice money Mayweather had been giving him to get the upper hand during his Gervonta Davis fight.
My thing is, I've always been there for him from day one. We had a game plan, and my game plan was to help him become world champion.
Frank Martin admits advice from Floyd Mayweather gives him a unique feeling. As a result of this, Floyd Mayweather has now lashed out at those coming for his head. I do what I want to do and support whoever I feel. How's there a crime in that? What's wrong with Frank meeting me for advice? If Tank comes, I'd advise him too. So what's the problem y'all have with me? Mayweather had been in Davis's corner, despite their split and the various differences between them over the years. And for the most part, Davis has always respected the former world champion. However, with the Davis-Martin fight, alliances surely did change.
Help him become world champion and take things to that next level. And I've always been there for him.
Especially since the much-publicized online tussle between Tank and Mayweather last month. So when asked about whether there is anything Martin had learned from Floyd Mayweather before the fight, Martin had this to say. He could tell you, man, go run at 2 in the morning because 9 times out of 10, we know your opponent sleeps at that time, said the Detroit, Michigan native. Not that Martin specifically needed to train in those hours, but rather, as he explained it, doing it would give him a mental edge over his opponent. As these are the little things that make a big difference in the end, Martin emphasized that it's nothing that he didn't know or was a big deal, but coming from someone like Floyd, who has been at the highest point in the sport.
Out of 10, we know your opponent sleep at that time. So go run at 2 in the morning and go give yourself a mental edge, because you know you out there working every night at 2 in the morning running.
You are going to take a lot of heave to it, and it's going to give you a different type of motivation when you do it, said Martin. He also added that even when Floyd shows something, a boxer might not be able to mimic it perfectly, but it'll give you a different type of feel about yourself. Interestingly, that's exactly what Mike Tyson used to do before his fights to gain a mental edge over his opponents. No wonder he became the youngest heavyweight champion and later, an undisputed champion. Running at 3 in the morning and chopping wood are just a few of the things Mike Tyson would do to gain an edge over his opponents. However, neither Tyson's training ritual nor Floyd's advice were able to stop Gervonta Davis from doing what he planned to do on fight night. Davis, who was coming off a year-long layoff because of the hit-and-run case he was involved in 2022 and spent 90 days in Baltimore prison, came out on top on fight night with an 8th-round knockout.
The claims on X that your fight was canceled the last couple of weeks. He's the one told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning.
The gap in his resume didn't dull his skills in the ring. Davis defeated Ryan Garcia in his last outing in April last year and finished off with a similar result against Frank Martin. In fact, leading up to Davis's fight against Frank Martin, Mayweather urged his fans to watch UFC instead after the two traded shots at each other on social media. Famous boxing reporter Michael Benson posted,
7 o'clock in the morning, Friday. He told Frank that he was giving Frank the tips.
Really? How'd you know that? Just word of mouth?
I seen.
Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis continuing their feud as Mayweather trolls Tank by posting that the Frank Martin fight has been canceled, and Tank responds, "Keep talking and they'll pull up to your house and lay hands on you." Davis went on to knock out Martin in brutal fashion on Saturday, and in an interview after the fight, the boxing superstar revealed that Mayweather had tried to give his opponent tips on how to beat him. He was giving Frank tips and stuff like that, but I know for sure that wasn't going to be enough to beat me. It's cool, it's alright. I don't really think too much of it. He's not gonna hurt me, you know what I mean? It's good to beef with him than to be cool with him.
Oh, really? Yeah. So they were like spying her, kind of?
No. He got a club.
You know Floyd Mayweather, was the one who told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock? Gervonta Davis. Away from his beef with Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather seems to have a big surprise for boxing fans. Who can forget the legendary boxing fight between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather in 2017? The Dubliner crossed over to boxing and made around $130 million to fight the then 49-0 boxer $300 million for Mayweather.
And that's why he is in the position he is in. So hats off to him. If a rematch happened, I would most certainly beat him. I've no doubt in my mind. You know, he's claimed retired. I'm not the type of guy to begrudge a man. Like, you know, the fight game is a cruel, ruthless business.
McGregor did fairly well in his debut fight and lasted till the 10th round before getting stopped in the fight. A rematch has been on the card for a long time, and it seems it might happen. McGregor has been waiting for a long time to return to action after recovering from a devastating leg injury. However, he has yet to receive an official date from the UFC and is looking for other possible options, including Mayweather. So what does he think about a possible Maymac 2? The boxing clash between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather is etched into the memories of most fans. However, certain conditions were laid down that were not in favor of the Dubliner. First of all, the fight took place in the 153-pound division, and McGregor had to cut down a lot of weight and lost substantial power as well.
To see an individual go out on top like that, close to $1 billion in earnings from fighting alone, I take my hat off to that. I'm actually, after the fight, I'm like, you know what, fair play to the guy. Much respect to him, so I'm not the type of guy to say, no, give me one more go.
The fight was also scheduled for 12 rounds, and Mystic Mac had no prior experience of fighting for 12 rounds. Bloody Elbow shared a video on their YouTube channel in which McGregor showed no interest in facing Mayweather again. However, while speaking to Marca, he took a completely new take on it.
We in here working. Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat. Hey, Conor, get back on the mat. Stay tuned, baby. Stay tuned. It's working.
The 36-year-old has no problems in facing the legendary boxer, but this time, the fight will happen on his terms. Championship Rounds took to their X account to share the video clip in which the Dubliner gave out all the details. On being asked about a possible second clash with Mayweather, he said, "You know there are conversations ongoing. I fought Floyd at 153 pounds, which is a low weight for me, so he brought me all the way down. It was over 12 rounds. I've never fought 12 rounds, so you know now the discussion is at my weight higher, heavyweight, 170 pounds and maybe less rounds, so I would fancy it. I had him bent over. You see, I had him bent over, so what more do you want me to do? Do you want me to finish the job when I have him bent over?" Mayweather is not the only one who is on the radar of Conor McGregor. Mystic Mac also showed his willingness to fight Terence Crawford in a boxing fight.
Go on, right, whoop your ass. He's 40 odd. Leave him be. Fair play to him. He got the win that night. Much power, much respect to him. All due respect given to him. Let's see how it goes in the next year or two with his finances, whether he is as smart as he claims he is.
But the fight never happened after Crawford pulled out. However, the boxer has now changed his tune and took to his Instagram to share a message for the Dubliner. Two of the biggest stars in boxing and MMA, Terence Crawford and Conor McGregor, were in unofficial talks to fight each other. Earlier this month, the former dual weight champion disclosed that he had offered a two-fight deal, one MMA, one boxing, to Crawford. According to McGregor, the deal could have allowed the undisputed welterweight champion to pocket $100 million for both fights.
Crawford is very slick. He also has a wrestling pedigree. So you know they're always talking to me about belts. I've already boxed a boxer. You want me to box a boxer? MMA is me. You know what I mean? I'm the most I generate the most. So we're talking back and forth. It's like a two-fight deal.
Both parties confirmed in a phone call that they would face each other, but Crawford later pulled out. During a conversation with the media, Crawford pointed out the reason for his withdrawal. He said, "They offered me the fight. Me and Conor got on the phone and started politicking to try and figure something out. Man, I'm not getting in no freaking octagon with you so you can be kicking and elbowing me." He was like, "I respect that." However, the former champion seems to be rethinking his decision now and might change his mind. He recently shared a story on his Instagram with a message that read, "I, Conor McGregor, I'm getting back on the mat. Stay tuned, baby. We are working."
A two-fight deal. He rings up Crawford in front of me the day after the fights. I said, Crawford, gets on the phone, I said, Crawford, they're talking to me here about you and me. A two-fight deal, MMA first, boxing second. I said, I know you have an extensive background.
Conor McGregor is currently looking to make a return to the UFC but has been constantly avoided by the promotion. However, he does have 2 fights left in his contract and fans can hope to see him soon. Regardless of his choice, Tank's promoters have regarded him like a valuable item that needs to be guarded. Therefore, they haven't made the extra effort to match him against fighters that fans are familiar with. His professional earnings have been curtailed, but it has kept him winning and chugging along. Had he faced well-known opposition during the previous 11 years, he would have amassed far more wealth. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.